All right,
Hello,
ladies and
everyone.
gentlemen, welcome back to the grand finals of the ECL Europe West. There it is. I remembered it. 1v1 stage. This will be between TheMax, who we've seen a lot of today. I've kind of been rooting for him. We saw him in that very first match of the day, Viper versus TheMax. They didn't finish it in time for us to cast it on last week's stream, so we finished it here. We then got to follow TheMax's progress through into the semi-finals, where he played against Lix, was victorious there and found himself in the grand final, who we're about to see play again versus Nicov, who we just saw before. So I'm really interested to see this, because I'm sort of rooting for Max. I've seen his progress throughout it, and there's that sort of battle between Suomi and SY for third, you know, that final sort of bronze medal spot. I'm looking forward to seeing who can take that. And Max, this is going to be really, really good for his team if he can do it. So let's see. Let's get into this. It will be TheMax versus...
Well, actually, we'll take a look at the maps first
the
before I
Nicov.
do something silly and get into the games.
All right.
We'll take a look at what's
That's
in
true.
store for
Frisia.
today.
Yes. Yes.
Frisia, possibly if we get to the final 2-all draw, we get to the deciding game on the crazy map, Frisia.
I like Frisia. You know, I'm expecting a close series. Nicov and TheMax, pretty good players, and we'll see what they have in store for us. Having said that, though, I don't really know anything about the two players, except that they're good enough to play in the ECL and get to the grand finals. So we shall have to see. But looks like Lombardia will be starting. Robo, who is the highest seed then? Because that determines who gets to pick this map.
Nicov. AM's team, because they are higher in the standings. We'll quickly take a look at the standings while we're mentioning it.
Okay.
AM are above Suomi, so all of their players are essentially the higher seed.
Oh, that's how that works,
That's
right?
how it works.
Okay, so Lombardia being picked by Nicov here.
By Nicov, and then TheMax chose Clearing and Fortress as the next two maps. Both more closed, boomy sort of maps. Maybe thinking he has an edge there in the Castle Age boom, get up to Imperial Age sort of game plan.
Yeah, we've seen him do quite well on Clearing in the previous games, and I was quite impressed. I think, what civ did he play on Fortress?
He played Vikings.
Yeah, that was fun as well. I really enjoyed that.
And then finally, Nicov decided on the order of Acropolis and Frisia, and he's probably thinking, well, Acropolis is more Arabia-like.
Yeah, and that was his first pick, right?
Yeah, so I'll take that one first and hope that I can finish it before we get to Frisia.
Yeah, I don't want to play Frisia. Let's just put that at the end. I like that they get to order them. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, if you want to see a game of Frisia, you should go back and see TheMax versus the Viper.
That was really good.
Spoilers, it's the final game in the series, I think. No, sorry, it was the first game in the series. Never mind. It was the first game in the series. It was really exciting. It wasn't a particularly long or in-depth game, but it really showed off how aggressive and chaotic the map can be.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of good games as well in, I think, the round of 16. I think Rubenstock versus Say My Name was one good one as well. But that's a little bit of a side topic that's not too important, because here we are for the grand finals. We don't want to talk about the early games. We want to talk about what we have coming up right now.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Game number 1 in a best-of-5 series between TheMax and Nicov for the grand finals of the Europe West 1v1 stage of the ECL. This is important for Max, for Suomi in general, battling it out for third place with SY, who are currently 4th, something like that. Third place is the final sort of medal spot. I say medal because that's what matters. First, second, and third.
Well, really, it's the top 2 that matter, and third is
of
like
course.
the consolation
But
prize. I mean, like, you were the next best team,
Right,
which is, I think, still important.
I mean, you're right, but first and second is kind of already, we know who came first and second. So this is the thing that we're looking at now. It's yes, but spawning on the bottom and left-hand side of the map, or whoa, right.
Well, I just hit the microphone into my face.
Robo's mic sort of jumped up and bit him.
Whew, that was a bit silly.
Okay.
But yeah, as you're saying, we have Nicov here in the southeast of the map, playing as the Franks, a civ that we've been seeing time and time again on this map. The aggressive Arabia-style civ, abusing the extra cows for that extra food to keep the scouts and the the spearmen production going, to be aggressive in Feudal Age, and then transitioning into more knights and more pikemen likely later in the game.
Yeah, his
And
opponent,
in
TheMax.
the top of the map, we have TheMax also playing as the Franks again, right? It is such a good classic Civ that players just keep picking it again and again and again.
Yeah, coming out to take his boar now, putting
First
down
ball, nice and early.
couple of houses.
Yep, 2 houses on the front. Just wants to start off a small little bit of a wall, it seems.
Right, get that going nice and early. He'll need it. But
That's it, exactly.
yeah, shall we take a look at their maps then? Because they're not as like sometimes you can. I think we've seen them spawn real close to each other, but here they're reasonably far away.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty big distance. The problem is, like, depending on how they wall it, it might become a lot closer. Because, like, let's say that Nicov decides to wall using this cliff.
Right.
That then becomes really close to the enemy. But if he walls this wood line to this wood line and then this wood line back this way, then, you know, you loses that 15, 20 tile distance there.
So it's often a choice of where they will wall and I guess what resources are available
inside their walls. And the Max, his map is pretty god-awful. He's got his main gold, secondary stone, other stone, and another gold all on this front side. Really, really difficult for him to wall this off, right? Like, his closest convenient wall-off location is wood to gold to wood. And that's just such a long distance. That's really difficult to defend. Other options, like from this house to that wood line, but still a big, long line. And then on the other side of his map, his final gold is even further away from his TC, off to the side, nestled in this little corner.
Yeah, at least that one's back, though.
Yeah, somewhat to the back, but at the moment he doesn't know where Nicov is. Nicov could be here, here, or here.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, every one of his resources is, you know, in front of that sort of like horizontal line of his TC, except for that stone, kind of.
So
like,
you're saying, you know, not a great map then.
Not at all.
He's
like,
not going to be super pleased with that.
His one redeeming quality is like this wood line is like a natural wall to the edge of the map, and he has this nice back wood line, which is, you know, okay. It's reasonable.
And what do you think of the deer pushing here? Because he's foregoing scouting. He's not going to know what his opponent is doing or what he's gathering, or indeed where he is, in favor of a couple of extra, deer.
I think it's kind of risky. Like, if you know that your map is this bad, I think you want to be the aggressor,
deer.
and the deer goes back.
No! Wait, can you stop it? Does it just keep going?
Once it starts walking back like this,
That's bullshit.
the only way to stop it is if you shoot it once with the villager.
Bullshit.
But if you shoot it twice, it dies. So there's sort of like a little bit of random chance in how long it takes before it decides to walk back.
All right, he's given up on that. He now needs to start looking for his opponent. Thankfully for him, though, he's going to find him like pretty much instantly. He's not aware of it, but he will come across it.
He's seen 2 straggler trees, so he's got some idea, and then these houses. Oh, don't go that way, though.
Oh, there's the TC. He's like, oh, shit, better get going. I'm not staying. But at least he's found it. He's staked it out. Maybe he can go back and once he's found the wood line, he's not going to see it.
No, I think he's probably going to circle around this side, maybe? No, he's just running off.
Just going to maybe look for some other resources that might be...
I don't think that's what you should be doing. Like, you found his base. You want to scout his base, not out here.
What's he doing at home, then? Is he just busy?
He's busy walling.
Okay,
that's what he's busy with.
Is that taking his attention? He doesn't want to be like risking his scout's life or something. I wonder. We'll see. We'll check in with the scout later, Robo. But both pretty much up to feudal age instantly here, or not instantly, at the same time rather.
Pretty much the same time. That's true. But Nikov's base. We'll quickly just touch on this. This is much nicer. He's got the back gold and the back stone, and he's got these nice little walls. Right, that forest to the edge of the map. This forest towards these houses is like a little not great, but it works just fine. Another nice little wall, edge of the map to the forest. So he's between the forests.
He's gone with a very sort of back base. You were saying it could be quite far forward. He's choosing to keep everything a bit more together, which is maybe better for defending against raids.
Yeah, it's definitely the safer play.
And he's got really nice, as you said, gold and stone in the back there. Everything seems pretty safe.
And you see, he's playing incredibly defensive already. Like, he's keeping his starting scouts, he's starting spearmen in his base.
Yeah,
he wants to guarantee that these walls go up unhindered.
Yeah, and it's looking, it's just very safe and very clean. I like it. TheMax, what is he up to? Much bigger, more sprawling walls. Kind of a necessity given the forward, resource piles there as well. But he's also gone with a stable there and units in queue. I think we see scouts and a couple of spearmen for Nicov as well. In fact, both players have spears, as we saw earlier.
Yeah, spears and scouts. That's just what you do in these sort of frank mirrors.
Okay.
The nice thing, though, is because Max was fully walled before he hit feudal age, he doesn't really need to invest as much into spearmen. Like we saw Nicov, he made the first 2 spearmen for defensive reasons.
Right.
Because he wanted to guarantee he got the walls up. But if Max makes any spearmen, it's purely for offensive reasons. Because he doesn't need them to defend his base, because he is defended. Right? These are only built
They're
so that he
spearmen.
can come forward, harass Nicov, try to get a numbers advantage.
Yeah.
Try to get something
here
happening
comes a couple of spears. They do chase away the scouts, and he's not going to get through that palisade there. Does have a spear of his own. Gets one sort of attack off with it there. Not going to commit to anything just yet. I think that spearman is toast. He does lose one spear, but a couple of hits on that scout. Second spear coming in. Those 2 spears come forward to handle it, but he's going to get out of there and exit that engagement.
Yeah, I think that was actually a pretty good trade-off, to be honest. He got 4 hits off on these scouts, 2 per each of those scouts, which is, I think, pretty good value for a spearman.
That's an early wheelbarrow.
That definitely is. How many farms does he have?
Enough, so...
He got 11 farms. It's almost 13.
He knows I never get my wheelbarrow on time. I'm just going to do it now whilst I've got the resources. Oh, no, that's Nicov.
Nicov's the one that never does it on time.
Okay, so, this is more expected from Max.
Yeah. Max is, I think, more of a mathematical player. He'd be like, I know roughly the best time to get wheelbarrow, and I will always do it unless there's some reason that I can't.
So that's the case. Wheelbarrow going to tank his vill count a little bit, but it does take 2 villages worth of time to build. So
3 villages, actually.
Well, that's fine. Coming forward, some scouts, and he's got his sort of spears off in the distance there, anticipating his opponent coming in with his cav and then catching them. But he's going to have to... he's taking a fight here.
3-2, right? He's happy to take that spear.
It looks like Blue trying to retreat to the hill. Something like that. But not wanting to fight.
Look at this, though. Nicov skipping wheelbarrow in favor of going up to Castle Age slightly faster. Max not going to be too far behind. He just needs to drop off a little bit of food there.
Okay.
And now he's up himself. Roughly 1 villager later, and he has 2 less villagers. So, yeah, that makes sense. That adds up just fine. No villager losses for either player. Only the 1 spearman that died up here on the hill.
What do you make of the really aggressively, clicking the button on the Castle Age? Seems real fast. Does he notice that his opponent's got...
Is that still going to get denied? Oh, look at those quick walls.
Okay, is going to deny that.
Whoa, that was good.
Deny the deny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, again, the card... Do you think, he sees his opponent's got a poor coin and stone mine? Is that maybe drops one... Is he going to want to put a castle down real far forward and something like that?
Oops, I'm looking at the wrong player. I'll switch over to Nicov.
He sees the stone there.
He sees the 2 golds, the 2 stones. He doesn't really know where the main gold is.
Can he just... I guess my question is, can he aggressively take map control with a quick forward castle?
I don't think it's likely to be a forward castle.
So that's not his intent. It's more...
more likely to be, as we've seen in other games, lots of knights, lots of pikemen, maybe some monks and siege as well.
Okay, and he just wants to get that quicker.
Yeah, and then if he goes for a castle, that would happen just naturally over time, right? You put a couple of villages on stone, and then... If and when you have enough stone, that's when you build it.
Just wants the tempo over his opponents.
Yep, I think so. And Max actually making at least 1 more scout there and not adding in a second military building whatsoever. Oh, here we go. There's the monastery. So we're going to see Nicov start to climb ahead in numbers here. 2 stables, a barracks, and a monastery. And 1 extra TC, whereas Max is going for 2 extra TCs, but only the 1 stable. And the early pikeman upgrade as well, for good measure.
Yep,
there we are. Perfect timing. It comes in just as he's about to maybe take a fight against these knights. But no, Nikov's like, oh, they're pikemen. I don't want to take that. I'm running away. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, I really don't want your cav on those. Not good at all.
Not at all, that's for sure. And now these scouts, they picked off a spearman, and now they're just going to run back towards where the pikes are. Getting, I don't think, any pokes there against the knights. But he's still in a decent position to defend this.
They seem safe for the time being. This is, very much an even game. Both players now Castle Age. Yes, Nicov was there slightly sooner and has a few extra knights, but it's not really like that tempo is not really doing anything here. It's not like it's achieved anything. So
no, not yes. Not.
So that's okay. But he does not have wheelbarrow, so perhaps it's small things, but that's what's mattering at this point, right?
He doesn't have wheelbarrow, but then at the same time, Max doesn't have bowsaw, which is the second wood upgrade, so it sort of levels out somewhat, but Max already getting in a relic, that's going to help out a little bit. That extra gold income is going to be a nice little boost.
But really just a very passive sort of stalematey situation right now. Both players not really wanting to take fights and just sort of waiting. But I think, once a few monks are out, or perhaps even more knights, or indeed some siege units, that's going to change real fast. At the moment, though, they're not here.
It seems at the moment they're just going to concentrate on fighting around the relics, right? Max had that one scout patrolling here next to the relic, thinking maybe if a monk comes by itself, I'll just kill it. And then Nicov sent his scouts in first, but all that did was just tell Max, oh, Nikov's coming for this relic. Let me bring the rest of my army over here. That'll help out.
And they're all coming now.
Yeah. And now we're going to see lots of monk conversion beams coming out, lots of military units roaming around.
Yeah.
But I think at this stage, Nicov, he's got, 4 extra military units, but I think his military is slightly stronger at the moment. Oh, that's a nice little monk snipe there from those 2 scouts. Running in, get it, and then running away. And then those pikemen just absolutely massacred those 3 scouts. The scouts walked towards them and they just died instantly. But now there's a lot of knights here chasing down these pikemen.
Yeah, and there's too many knights, right? Pikes may be strong, but they're not that strong.
No, you can't fight, 4 versus 8. That's not going to be enough.
Looks like Nicov pulling ahead. I think getting the first decisive victory of the game in terms of actual open fighting, and picks up the relic to boot. You're going to even that out to 1-1.
1-1, but Max is about to try to get this one. He's got his 2 knights roaming around as well, just in case there's any scouts nearby.
Yeah, looks like he's going to get it. Nothing nearby to sort of stop him. I'm not sure if Nikov's actually scouted that relic. So
good shout. Let's take a look. Has Max... No, Nicov has not scouted any of these relics.
So going to get that one there for free, more or less.
Strong player. Over to Max, and Max does not actually see this other relic here that he could quite easily grab as well.
He might soon.
That scout might go over there and find it.
Monks have really big line of sight, except the ones holding the relics, apparently. That's less.
No, they've got the same line of sight.
Do they? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he's going to find it here. Probably this monk is just going to walk right over here, scout this area, and then just grab that relic, and he'll be up 3 relics to 1.
That's nice. Nice early lead in terms of relics.
Yeah. This one is technically going to be Nikov's relic later in the game, but that's going to take a while before it eventuates.
This is still very even. Nicov may got 1 good fight so far, and he is now sort of pushing forward with units, but actually very even in terms of military population, both within 2 of each other, and the Vil counts are still very early. It's still very even as well. How many TCs do each player?
Got 3 each.
Okay.
At the moment. These 3 nicely centered together for Nicov.
So I'm liking this. This is shaping up to be an interesting game. No one in particular has gotten any massive advantage. It's open to everyone here. Nicov is building a castle. Says the UI.
It just sort of naturally happened. He started slowly accruing the stone for it. He scouted out as a TC here.
This is big, right?
He knows the gold is there. Just dropping this castle here. This denies all 3 of Max's gold.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's so much gold here. It just seems such like a strong castle. And walls coming up to try and stop the knights. And the villagers also coming in.
But they can't attack all the villagers.
A big die-hard attempt to stop it going up. Do you think he can?
No, Max does not have nearly enough units here.
So that castle is going to be a real thorn in his side. It's going to, I think, in range of that TC?
It's definitely in range of the TC. It's going to deny this gold very quickly. He can always get fletching and bodkin
Does he have
arrow
other
as well.
gold? Where can he get the gold from?
This is
just this one.
That's his only other gold that he can go to.
So he's on a time scale here. He has to sort of do something about the castle and get these gold backs. And it looks like, Bluegun just going to mine the one on the front there, make the most of it whilst his castle's there, get some extra gold.
It makes the most sense, right? Take this one, because maybe you lose this position later in the game.
Yeah, and at least you've mined some of it out and made it worse for your opponent.
Yeah,
but
and then you can still freely take the one to
TheMax, he is on a time limit, and he's got units knocking on his door. He's got to do something, or he's going to not have any late-game gold, and things could spiral out of control.
And he might very quickly lose these 2 relics in this monastery. Like, these knights, they're going to kill it, and then these monks can just walk in, say, thanks for doing the hard yards, collecting the relics. I'll take them from here, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Fred took the relics.
Fred and... What was the other one? Was it Billy?
Billy, Joseph... No, not Joseph. That's too biblical. It's probably like Albert.
There was Albert and George, I think.
Keith. I'm going to go with Keith.
We're going to go with Keith, okay.
It's just the least biblical monk names. I'm just imagining you open the Bible. This is a passage from Keith 32. Just doesn't sound like...
the sort of thing you would expect to hear.
No.
But here, oh no, Nicov up to Imp. Even with all this aggression he's been doing...
What?
He's up to Imp. And Max...
He can do that behind? That's impressive.
It's really well macroed at home. Max trying to get in here and deal some damage.
Okay, but does it mean, like, now Max has an opportunity? Because he's just spent a lot of resources on aging. Does he have a window to maybe do some damage? Can he kill that castle? I don't know.
He has that window, but the problem is with so little gold income, like you can only fit so many villages around one gold.
That's true.
There's not a big one, right? This is a small gold. So this is not going to play out like the first game of Max vs. Licks.
How do you feel about the strategy you went for? Like with those forward golds, like is keeping the game feudal for as long as possible, like something you want to do, but then your opponent was fully walled. It's
right.
no good to
There's
stay.
not much you can do without going forward.
What do you do?
I think the best thing for him to do would have been to start mining stone.
Right.
Like as soon as he hit castle age, or even before then, and drop a castle early to defend this front.
Right.
But the problem is, if you do that and your opponent just free booms,
and then they go up to Imperial
and they just go up to Imperial Age 3 or 4 minutes faster than you, and they start trebbing down your castle, then it's like, well, that was a waste of time and effort.
It's just awkward.
It's
just awkward.
And because, like, obviously, like, we can see, there's this bad gold. Oh, look, Nikov's mining some stone. There might be a castle, right? Max doesn't have that information freely at hand. And man, these knights, they're just going to roam around. They're going to start picking off these villages.
He is bleeding out.
Yeah.
Max, this is not... And now he's up to Imp as well. That's got to be frightening.
Oh, 100% it does. You're probably thinking, okay, well, he's been investing a lot in these forward units. He's probably not going to get Imp until minute 40 or so.
Yeah.
And that gives me a chance. But nope, he's up. He's going to lose. Oh, that's not even a monk.
Can you go double-click those coin piles? They're probably...
This one back
here. How many are in those?
2,000
so
gold.
He's got some gold to last him, but as you said, it's more like limiting the gold per second that you can mine. It's just not, you've saturated it, so to speak. Yeah. Where is Zach? Zach is not feeling very well today. He's got a raspy throat. You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, he's pretty sick or cold.
You know he's pretty ill when I'm here.
Yeah. Max is spreading out towards this other gold, towards the back of Nikov's base.
So there's gold on the map. Okay, if he gets away with this, he can possibly stay in the game. But no, he's come. Here comes Blue with a knight and several units, pikemen, even throwing axes mixed in there. Does he see? He doesn't see
the TC.
He doesn't see it.
He misses it by one tile.
Oh my goodness.
And then he walks away.
What building is that being trying to go?
That was a stable. Maybe he's thinking like just some raids to come in the side. That's all he wanted to do.
Right. He gets away with it. It's oh god, that was very narrow.
Lucky. You see, he isn't chopping any of the trees.
Because
if you chop a tree, you can see it through the fog.
Can he see the terrain change, or is that just capturing?
No, that's just a spectating feature.
Right.
Oh, I say feature. It's spectating issue that can't really be fixed.
Nicov playing insane right now. Yeah, Nikov's doing everything right. The one thing that he hasn't done this game was scout that TC, but I don't think he needs to. He's in a really great spot.
Another TC coming up from Max here. Max over booming, as it were, dropping TCs, trying to get as many villages as possible.
Yeah.
But I don't really see what he's able to do to counter an Imperial Age army, right? He's going to start making some skirmishes and knights and
third castle robo coming down from Nicov on that front.
Defending this hill.
No, that's a fourth castle.
That's a fourth castle. There's the third castle here as well. Sorry, yep. Taking control of this stone. This gold, this stone.
He has all the resources. That's what you do.
In the world, he has everything he needs.
Grab all those piles. Your opponent is not having them.
That's it. And these trebs taking down the TCs. There's not a lot of units here to defend this. Max could destroy this pretty easily if he had any army whatsoever.
Come on, Max.
But he's only got 10 military units. Nicov has 40 at the moment.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He can't really...
He's got some monks. He needs some like miracle converts, one after the other.
He needs a monk that can somehow convert 4 units at once.
Right,
if he has 10 monks that can convert 4 units each, he converts all of Nikov's army.
Omega monk.
Then he has a chance, I think. But until that unit gets created, I don't think he's going to win this. Like, he might, win one of these small fights. Which he hasn't, but maybe he does. Maybe he kills these 2 trebs. Nicov still has map control. Nicov has found this gold. He is dropping a castle here. 2 castles and a TC securing this hill.
A 5th castle!
Those Frank cheap castles.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Plus the fact that he's mining Max's stone. He's just spreading all over the map, and Max is like, yeah, okay.
GG.
Once I lose this, I've got nothing left.
Damn, that felt like it was so well executed. Everything about that game from Nicov.
The one castle denying this whole area and then clicking up to Imperial Age, a minute later, was just insane. And yes, he's behind on villages, but who cares when you've got so much more army, so much more map control, so much more...
That was beautiful.
Everything all over the map like this. Just insanely well played by Nicov.
Yeah, it is a shame. Not to take anything away from Nicov, but those gold piles, that was a shame.
Definitely was unfortunate, but you have to adapt to your map.
You do.
If you see you've got forward golds, you need to do something. Like, he didn't have to drop 2 TCs and boom. He could have gone forward with pikes and siege and knights and monks, right? try to put the pressure on, like maybe attack down from this hill into Nikov's base, or this side, or something like that, to keep him away from his own base. But Max tried to play, I think, quite greedy with the early TCs, not making a ton of military, and then Nicov just punished him coming forwards with this castle.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, but that might be just Max's style. I mean, coming up next, we've got Clearing and then Fortress. Is it Regicide Fortress? Yes, both of those.
Yep.
Gonna favor Max a bit more if that's the style he wants to play, that boomy, drop some TCs, make a big eco kind of style. And that may be what he feels more comfortable with. What do you think? Those next maps are going to be playing into that a lot better, though.
Max's playstyle is a little bit of a conundrum because sometimes he plays that super aggressive, all-in, man-at-arms, towers, get in your face, tons and tons of offensive military all the time.
Right.
And then sometimes he plays this sort of bare minimum amount of military possible and boomy as hell.
Okay,
and
so
you're never really sure which Max you're going to get.
he can do either of those things.
But he doesn't really seem to have much of that middle ground that I've seen.
He's very committed to one thing or the other,
Yeah.
which can often work, right? You know, do one thing really, really well and stick to it. But yeah, that game, not the case. Nicov does pull ahead at the very beginning of the series here, picking up the first point. This is
First win's the one you always want to get because then you have the momentum. You're not ever thinking, well, you might be thinking, but not for a while, oh, I'm behind, I have to win.
Yeah.
From here on, there's like a little bit less pressure on you as a player.
It's definitely easier, and there's like we say this, we mention it so much because it's a mental thing as well. It really does sort of matter. But this will be game number 2 coming up in just a moment on Clearing, TheMax versus Nicov. This is the grand finals of the ECL Europe West 1v1 stage, and the winner of this will score some points, absolutely. But yes,
it will.
before we get started, I want to mention the ECL LAN Grand Final. Details are out. It will be played between
the 30th of August, the 31st of August, and the 1st of September. That weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at the end of August, here in our studio in Manchester.
Secret versus AM.
That's it. Make sure you check it out. Type !LAN if you want information
Yeah,
about buying tickets.
Tickets are limited, so if you want to come, you have to get that in pretty quick because they will run out at some point. So
and there's also information about the AoE 3 LAN if that's your sort of thing. If you want to come out and meet some AoE 3 people, then you can do that as well.
Yeah.
At the NWC link.
it will be both lands actually quite close. It's kind of fun. It's going to be a big time for us. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to. Oh my goodness, this is not what we usually see on Clearing.
No,
Look at that mini-map.
This is a map where you're literally missing a third of the map.
You're missing the map. Where is
a
it?
Third of the map is just inaccessible garbage.
This is like Arabia. Well, no, it's not. There's still a lot less space, and there are still more chokes. That's a really nice wall.
This is a huge open area for Clearing's standards. Like on Arabia, you'd be like, that's a pretty easy wall.
Yeah.
For Clearing's like, God, this map is so incredibly open. What is
walk?
wrong?
Okay. This is much more open than usual. This is a really peculiar spawn, I think. I don't know, but
it's very peculiar.
It's an interesting spawn. And as I was saying earlier, I was saying about Max, he's trying, he seems really good on those sort of, when he can just boom away, at least what I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gonna be harder here.
Well, the thing is, like, will the players recognize?
Yeah, I guess they
as
don't know.
quickly as possible,
That's
right? Because
true.
they don't have our overarching view. And oh boy, we're seeing Max already stealing a ball just in ahead of Nicov. That villager was there, ready to take the ball, and then it was just stolen from under her nose. But she, if only she could see that there's this ball here that she could take.
Oh no.
Okay, so Max already having an advantage here, having the one extra ball underneath the CC, but maybe Nicov is going to come forward and get a counter lane, or maybe he's just going to push the deer in and defend this villager.
Yeah. What's the wall there? Just nothing else to do, so...
I think maybe he's thinking, well, if I'm behind already, because I'm missing a ball, then I just want to wall up early, make sure there's no drush or man-at-arm shenanigans coming in.
Okay, just be safe.
Yeah, I would assume that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, be safe. Make protection. Wear protection. Yeah.
That's it. Italians on clearing Y.
Yeah, we saw this before, didn't we? You had a hard time explaining it.
Yeah, the only logical thing that I can think of is A, you want the Italians so you can age up faster, so you can be really aggressive with man-at-arms or pretty much just man-at-arms and towers, that sort of forward aggression really early, really quickly. Or you're thinking your opponent is going to take Franks, which obviously they can't because you've just played Lombardia, but for some reason you're thinking they'll take Franks, maybe they'll take Spanish, and that could be a choice as well, and then you try to use the Genoese Expos to counter the Conquistadors and Knights that you're going to see. But yeah, someone else just pointing out in chat, Mr. Chow, 4 relics to 0, because there's 3 relics in the back of Max's base. This one is sort of contested, but it is outside Nikov's walls.
And that final one
and
is...
then this final relic that no one is ever going to find unless you've got like a 3-hour-long game.
Super late game.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a relic lost in the woods.
Oh yeah, that's nice. Extra little bonus there. But we see already Max up to feudal age. Pretty decent uptime. 22 pop. He's doing militia already. He's going to do for man-at-arms. He's getting the mining camp on gold already. And Nicov has a safe relic for the 3rd hour of the game. That's it exactly. He's just saving it, preparing for the later. I'll snack on that one later.
For the 3rd hour. Yeah, that's a good 3-hour relic. I like that.
Yeah. But now the thing is Max going to be aggressive enough to get in through this layer of walls? Nicov almost going to click up after this villager, significantly slower than the Max though, at least a minute and a half slower.
Yeah, I'm feeling that this Dark Age, I'm going to hand that to the Max, that early boar steal, really, really nice. I'm feeling Team Max at the moment, coming forward with 3 militia, but
look at
he's
that.
going to be met by a giant wall.
Nicov instantly, as soon as he saw this militia, village up, get to work, start re-walling, 2nd layer of wall, 3rd layer of wall, everything you can do.
Yeah, not letting these bad boys in. Do militia, I guess, have a bonus versus buildings
They
as
do,
well?
and the man-at-arms have an even bigger bonus, I believe.
Nice, nice. They're going to tear through this house, and Nicov knows that. He needs to slam down more walls behind it. We cannot be letting these in. But militia, let's see what they can get done. Certainly will kill a house, but I don't know if he can really get... I don't think he's going to get inside Robo, and these militia might not achieve too much.
He can maybe get through the house in the 1st layer of palisades, but we're just going to probably just keep seeing more layers of wall.
Okay.
Walls upon walls upon walls.
So what's the strategy here? Looks like Drushfast Castle, is that right? Coming out of Nicov? Certainly a Drush.
Well, Nikov's not actually drushing at all. Nikov's not doing anything military.
I meant the Max, you know.
Max is just going to go all-out aggression, I think.
all-out
Man-at-arms and
aggression.
towers and just keep pushing in. Maybe drop archery range at some point.
I feel silly now. There's a tower there, of course. He's not going to be going castle anytime soon.
He's just going to try to deal as much damage as he can.
Right, so all-out aggression. And Nicov?
Pretty much just try to defend and have the strongest eco possible.
And spend less on military defending than his opponent does.
So he's technically ahead in eco because he went up slower.
Yeah.
So he had more villagers working during the transition. He hasn't spent all this food making 3 militia and then upgrading them. So he has that going for him as well. If he can get this defensive tower up, that very well shuts down this whole entire forward aggression here. And I think at this point, Nikov's probably thinking, I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, he's going to come up here, stonewall behind this.
Make sure that's all safe. You say that, yes, and he is looking safe, but he's no map control aside from this corner that he's carved out, right? The rest of the map is not his. Even that gold mine is like stuck in his wall.
Yeah, he's not taking that for a while. That's definitely true.
But he does have all the resources he needs, right? He's got a lot of stuff in the back there.
He's got the back stones, back golds, more back stone, more back gold.
Okay, he's in the corner, but who cares? He's got all he needs. That's looking pretty solid,
and
actually.
Here we see Nicov with
the only thing he's giving up is all of the relics, I suppose.
And honestly, even if he walled out here, like right next to Max's base, he still wouldn't be able to get those 3 relics.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a big problem at the moment.
Yeah, he's okay. He's doing pretty good.
The question really is going to be who's able to adapt, get up to Castle Age, and switch into boom mode the fastest.
Right.
Because in the late game, I think the Britons probably have a better army composition. Right? They have both civs are archer civs. Neither civ gets siege ram, but the British archers have more range. So they essentially win almost all of these fights by default because they deal so much more damage before the enemy's even in range to fight back. The only chance really I think for Max is now that this aggression has sort of not worked out as intended, is probably like switching into getting to castle age fast and continuing the aggression, or getting imp first and being able to pressure really hard with that. Maybe like a fast onager cut into condos or some other miscellaneous fast aggression. Big stone walls, not really what I had in mind.
Hey, it's just like, you're in the corner, I'll just keep you here. You're not leaving.
Yep.
I'm going to wall you down. I'm going to be going straight up to castle and then Imperial behind this. You can stay in your corner.
Yep. Not really what I was expecting, but he is up to castle age first, using that cheaper age up that the Italians have.
At least, well, actually, you say this is not what you're expecting, sure, right? But at least you cannot be raided, because they cannot leave. This is the one way they leave, and if you just wall it off, right?
Yep. He's going to wall that, and then he's going to stonewall this bit as well,
and then
he's fine.
You are free to go anywhere on the map. You don't have to worry about, when knights are coming, because they can't come.
Exactly. But I'm not saying this is a bad strategy.
So
I just don't think it's the best strategy.
Right. Okay. It seems like a lot of stone as well to spend.
Exactly. Like, it's a lot of villager time building this. You have to mine the stone to build the walls in the first place. And the later the game goes, the more bonuses the Britons have. They have cheaper TC, so they can get their boom going quite a bit better than you can. Their late game army, as I said, is probably slightly better.
Hold on. Go over the British bonuses again? What do you mean?
Their TC costs 50% less wood.
Oh, right. That's just easy to build here.
So, you only need 138 wood instead of 275. So you make 2 TCs for the same wood cost as your opponent making 1. Which is, nice and easy. You can afford to make more farms to keep the TCs working.
Britons seem pretty good. They have a nice dark age with the faster gathering sheep, and they have a nice castle age by the sounds of it as well with the the extra TC.
Yeah, the cheaper TCs.
And indeed the extra range on the you get that for free, right? As soon as you age up.
+1 range in castle age, and then another +1 once you hit imperial age.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
And then the unique tech gives them another +1 range.
That's all the range.
Yeah, they're very rangy units.
Yep.
We see 2 extra TCs coming up instantly.
Hot damn. Here we
go. For
go.
Nicov, well, he's not even going for TCs. He's going for a castle drop.
He's pushing out.
Right.
Here we go.
Not what you were expecting, right? You're thinking, okay, he's probably just going to sit back and boom and try to beat me late game. That's what I thought. But no, he's doing a castle drop. He can petard through this wall pretty easily.
The archers know what's up, though. They've seen the castle.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he'll switch gear?
I think he's going to have to, because he needs something to defend a possible rush, right? Once the castle's up, he can petard, he can make longbows, he can get in. And yes, look at him. He's even dropping the 2 TCs behind this to get his boom rolling as well, and a siege workshop. That's how much wood he saves. He's able to afford all of these things. He's dying to mass some longbows as well. And look at this wall from Mr. Max, the Max man. I think we should call him like... Is there anyone in Mad Max that likes walls?
That's a very specific question.
Yeah, well, I was trying to say something witty, and then I had nothing.
Yeah.
I started the conversation thinking, come on, brain, you can think of one thing to say. And then nothing came up.
Pop culture, not your forte.
No, not at all. I don't think I know any characters in Mad Max other than Max.
And that he's mad. That's the extent.
Yeah, that's the extent. Like, I've seen all the movies, but I don't know anything about them.
No walls in Mad Max. It wouldn't be that mad if they had walls.
Isn't there there's a dome thingo in one of them?
Domes.
They're kind of like a wall, right?
Do any of the characters like domes?
That's it. Max is making his Thunderdome.
Right.
Gator Essie, thank you. I'm glad someone's got my back.
Longbows coming out with a mangonel behind.
All that tower's not going up.
Tower denied, and second layer of walls forced here, so that's a victory in and of itself.
And then this second layer of walls is going to get taken down pretty quickly as well. Full tower defense, it seems, from Max. What's he doing? He's building a blacksmith and another market? No, it's a university. Oh, I was clicking on the wrong building. Like, why is he building a second market right next to the first one? That would be weird.
To get cartography and the trade cut upgrade at the same time, neither of which you need on this map.
Cartography is, you get that for free anyway now.
Oh.
Once you build the market, so definitely not necessary there.
Rip.
But we're getting a stable coming up. I'm not sure if that's the best plan. I guess knights counter mangonels, and if he has enough, they'll be okay against the longbows.
Here we go. Longbows coming out, and that second tower now under siege. Longbows have a lot of range, as we know. Sniping villagers, couple going down there.
8 range. They got more range than the TC, more range than any mangonels.
And the stone walls that were so expensive are just gone.
Gone. Yeah, they're breached. The villagers coming forwards to keep repairing the mangonel.
How much time do you think those walls bought him? Not very much by the looks of it.
Well, it bought him some time, right? It's better than not having the walls altogether, but it's not a significant defense, I think, at this point. And this tower is going down. The longbows are in position to snipe it.
Archers coming out. Oh no, more villagers going down. On paper, this is actually quite even. Nicov is pulling ahead in terms of villagers and does have slightly more military, but it looks like if you actually see the state of the game, he's looking really, really strong.
And here we see he's denying this gold, denying these farms, forcing a 4th TC to come up here to defend this gold for the max. Another forward siege workshop coming. More longbows constantly streaming forwards.
Second mangonel.
Yep. Where's the defensive siege workshop for Max? Doesn't have one. He's only got a couple of knights that don't have any upgrades whatsoever.
Is he coming to sneak around the back and pick those mangonels off?
I assume that's what he's thinking, but you sort of want to have upgrades on your knights. And Max has seen the stable.
Damn, those longbows are rangy.
He's possibly seen the knights as well if he's paying attention. He knows what's happening. All these villagers, where are they going? That's the wrong way.
There's another TC nearby.
There, he sees the knights, the mangonels. He's trying to do some walls.
That's the trouble. Longbows and mangonels.
Oh, that mangonel popped out on the wrong side.
Oh, yeah, that's going to go down. Oh, but it's not. He's going for the longbows.
Okay, that's fair enough. I guess once the longbows are dead, he can kill the siege weapons as he pleases.
Okay.
So I guess that does make sense.
That villa's sort of built a house in between. That's really awkward.
I think that's deliberate, though, to try to slow down the knights coming from one side to the other.
Yeah, no, of course it was deliberate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, he built it.
Yeah.
He chose to place it there.
Okay, but either way, all the mangonels gone.
It does. The problem, though, is look at Nikov's economy. Up to him, Max, he's got barely enough food to keep his TCs working.
Nicov, the blue player.
Nicov, the blue player, is just on fire this series. Like we saw this in the first game. Insane aggression with the forward castle, lots of knights, lots of spearmen, lots of monks, still able to get up to Imp at a really good time.
Yeah.
We're seeing the exact same thing in this game. He has A, more villagers, B, well, he doesn't have more kills, but he's done more economic damage than Max has. And he's just in such a powerful position here.
Nicov seems like a really competent player.
Oh, he is for sure. He has been long regarded one of the top team game players in the game, and now he's sort of starting to show more and more that, he is also a really good 1v1 player too.
Really solid.
Yep.
And it's showing.
Maybe he can get a good mangonel shot off on these longbows. He needs something like that.
Yeah. I was impressed with Max's performance versus the Viper, and then, getting to the final here. But Nicov, yeah, he's doing very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. And with these longbows, as long as he pays attention, as long as he micros them, mangonels are never going to get in range, because he's got 8 range, soon to be 9 range. Mangonels only have 7.
So the longbows are just
sniping away at the mangonel.
Yeah. Well, that's a Britain-only thing right there.
Yep. 100%. Look at him go.
No, he's not going to.
Couple more shots and he can get it.
Rest in peace,
There we are. There it goes down. The Max has started collecting the relics as well. Not that that really matters. He's trying to build a defensive watchtower, but he's in Imp. Your watchtower's not going to help against trebuchets, man. Okay, he's getting elite skirmisher. Max recognizes he can't get up to Imperial Age himself. It's going to take too long, too many resources. He needs to go full Castle Age. But elite longbowmen, soon to be almost fully upgraded. They've got 9 range. They're about to go up to 10 range. Then 11 once they get elite longbowmen. How are you going to stop this with elite skirmishers that have 7 range?
You just get kited all day long by that.
All day long. Look at them. They've got 11 range. It's insane. They outrange the tower. It's only got 9 range.
How do you handle them? Because the traditional counter, the skirmisher, I guess that still works if your opponent isn't microing.
And if you've got enough of them.
Right. But
and I guess there's only so far that he can micro back, right? At some point, he's not going to be able to fall back any further.
Game over.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
Huge score lead. A decent Vil lead. And, Max, what can he really do to stop this? He's got a bunch of knights that are useless in the back of his base.
It seems like once you reach a critical mass of longbow, they are just exceptional.
Oh, yeah. 100% they are. The best counter to longbows, funnily enough, is siege rams. Because the longbows target the siege ram, and then your skirmishers can get close enough
Right.
to shoot them.
Don't you just love the historical accuracy?
Yeah.
I love how rams are used in general. It's just like...
Killing buildings? No, that's like a secondary purpose. The main use is for tanking arrows.
Yep.
That's
Don't let
primary
AoE 2 players go back in time to fight the battles of history. That would...
Guys, just build a ram and walk back and forth.
Send the archers in. The rams will tank. Right.
What's a tank?
I'll explain later. Just go.
just do it. God damn it. Oh wow.
Damn. The score is.
A solid 2-0 lead so far for Nicov.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Max. He needs to perform. Thankfully, he's got another map of his choice coming up. Fortress will be next.
It will be. Let me just
so far,
update the overlay.
Nicov showing us that he doesn't care what maps you've picked. He's very good at all of them.
Yep.
AM taking 2 victories in a row here. Nicov, more specifically. And we expect that from team... wait, do we? No, it's... Yes, AM versus Secret in the grand finals.
That is what we're kicking here.
They are the 2 top teams after all.
Into possibly the final match. Match point here coming up for Nicov.
I believe. I was rooting for you, Nicov. Max.
I think Max can still do it. I think Frisia is a map that he probably has an advantage on the final map, Frisia, if he can get there, because it's such a chaotic map. It's not it's not like a very standard map. There's very different ways you can play the game, lots of different things that can happen. If he can take the next 2 games, I think the reverse sweep
the Max
will be on.
Now? No, I was just... I think I just said something wrong if that's the case. My
you
apologies.
You were talking about how once we get to the LAN final where AM, including Nicov, is going to be there playing, you expect him to continue playing at this high standard.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Maybe someone didn't... anyway, ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the left-hand side of the map in the color red, we do have the Max. It is match point. If he does not win this game, he is... he doesn't...
He comes second.
Yeah, I guess
he
that's
comes
pretty
second
good
in the
still.
stage.
Here he is on Fortress. It is Regicide Fortress.
And we have a Viking mirror once again. I say once again, I don't think we've actually seen a Viking mirror yet.
We see Vikings again.
We're seeing Vikings again.
Once again.
And it just happens to be a mirror this time.
Yeah, immediately taking that boar.
Nicely done. Straight onto the TC there, right where he wants it. And as we alluded to on the other side, we have Nicov playing as the Vikings here in the blue off to the eastern corner in a nice little cozy base that he has here.
Yep.
Is it confirmed that all members of Secret and AM can make the LAN? Mr. Zach says pretty much. So things are looking good on that front. Everyone apart from MBL has confirmed 100%.
Get
is
on
what
it.
Zach has said.
Get on it, Emberlock.
Emberlock.
I feel like that was his name because of his Twitch channel. It's MBL AOC, and I was pronouncing it Mublock.
Mublock.
Mublock. And then I realized when, Robo pointed it out, no, that's AOC.
Yeah. And then it's like, wow, okay. Just shoot 250 arrows at the palisade. That should break it down. Yeah, man. That's exactly how it works. But what we're seeing here, for anyone that doesn't really know, you lure the boars into your TC with your scout on Regicide Fortress. Because A, you've got your king that you can use to run around the map. He can do scouting for you. And at the same time, your scout gets a little injured taking the boar. You just jump into your TC and you heal it back up.
It's Mr. Block.
Mr. Block.
Yeah. Again, AoE 2 showing us its historical accuracy.
Oh, yeah.
The kings would always go out on their own to scout
and
the wilderness.
They were always big fat guys that could run really quickly.
Yeah, that's just how that works.
That's how it works, exactly. Let's just take a look at the king in detail.
His glorious over top obese belly. Wow, you've got a camera lock feature. I like it.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Woo!
How far can you go?
Can he get hit by a mangonel?
Oh god, get Robo, zoom out quick. Oh god, no, not again. Right, that's far enough.
That's
okay.
far enough. Yeah, we'll go back and look.
Do you ever see King Wars, or do they just have no attack?
The Kings do not have an attack.
Oh.
We'll take a look at them. They have 0 armor, 75 HP, and that is it.
Right. Okay.
They are not useful for anything else. You could maybe use it to try to block a unit to stop them from running away, but if they tried to fight, they'd probably just belly bump or something.
I feel like that should do 300 damage per hit. It would reward you for king fighting. Risk reward, right? 75 HP.
You got a 50-50 chance to win or lose the game.
He just one bangs every unit he goes up. That should be a feature for sure. I like it.
Oh god.
But early days, that's why these kings are out scouting the map.
There's nothing that can really kill them until the feudal age. And we're seeing both players hit feudal age at the exact same time, both doing the same sort of strategy. They're going to build market and blacksmith. Nicov instantly proves me wrong, but on the side, we're seeing the market and blacksmith into the boom like you would expect to see on a boom map like Regicide Fortress. But Nicov has to be contrarian and builds a stable instead of the market.
Okay, well, that's still going to get you up to the castle age.
He gets the 2 buildings he needs.
Wait, hold on, you've already got a castle. Or that's for the Imperial...
That's for the Imperial Age.
Right.
The thing there is, like, maybe Nikov's thinking, I want to get relics. I want to get control of a number of the relics. So I'll make a couple of scouts, kill your scout off quickly. If you make monks, I've got more numbers than you do. I can just kill them pretty quickly.
Right, wants to get an early lead in terms of... Okay, that's an interesting...
I'm guessing that's what he's thinking. Play it sort of like an arena-style game. But he had scouts queued up, and then he cancelled it, and now he's queued it back up again. He decided he wanted to do the eco upgrades first.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so we'll see how that pans out. But, I think the early game is sort of coming to a close. Both players going up to Castle Age. And before we move into, the next sort of section of the game almost, I want to ask, have we seen any competitive games in the ECL, or indeed competitive games in general, where kings are killed early on? Maybe they go too close to a castle or some villages or something.
Oh boy, I'm so glad you asked. Back in many a day,
Grandpa Rover has a tale, a yarn, everybody, gather round.
Gather around. You know this guy, the Viper. He's a pretty good player, right?
Viper, okay.
He lost a game against a good player, but not a top-level pro, who sniped his king. His king was hiding in one of these towers, right? Not a defensive tower at the back, just a tower off to the side.
Right.
The enemy came in with some petards, killed the wall, some more petards, killed the tower, and then there were some archers standing by to kill the king once it got out of the tower.
And that was the game.
That was the game. The Viper won that.
Nice.
And then often, or not oftentimes, but some other times, a king would walk into this area, and then a smart opponent, really quick reflexes, comes out here. We'll just zoom in a little bit. Builds a building here, and the king is trapped in this sort of an area.
Right.
And then, it's stuck there. It can't leave, so you just send a scout in there, and you just kill it slowly.
Nice. And they can't fight back. They don't really have a belly flop ability.
Yeah, they don't
That's
have
why
that
they
yet.
need one. We'd have more competitive games, of course.
We should get something for Definitive Edition where the king gets a belly flop attack.
Right, you're making me want to play. It's called Honshu Regicide in AoE 3. It's not really a competitive map. In fact, it's so uncompetitive. The last time I played it, my opponent didn't realize he'd lose the game if his king died. So
that seems so foreign to me because everyone should know how Regicide works if you follow competitive Age of Empires 2.
Yeah.
And even as a kid, I loved playing Regicide simply because, it's so much more fitting for the story to have a king to defend, right?
That's right. It feels fun.
Yeah.
Where in reality, it's just like sometimes he randomly dies and the game ends for no reason.
Exactly.
But like we all pretend it's a good idea.
Yeah. Well,
and it is certainly fun.
I remember playing 2v2s with one of my mates on LAN at his place, and it'd be you'd tell a story, you'd give your king a name, he'd sort of be your persona, and if it's safe, you'd walk around with your king, looking at the armies and touring the villages.
King Robo the Fifth.
Exactly, things like that, just roaming around.
Right.
And then I think I'll tell one more King Snipe story from this stage of the ECL. Did you?
In the ECL?
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you see Nili versus Gibatong in the round of 16?
I did. Yes, I did.
In the final game, he was getting absolutely destroyed.
Oh, I remember this.
2 of his Huskarls somehow got through a gate into the back of the enemy base. They just, accidentally got in there. And then he's like, oh, I've got some units here. Hey, look, there's a tower there. There's a flag on that tower there.
I wonder what's inside.
I'm losing. Maybe I can kill this tower, and maybe there's a king inside this tower.
Yeah.
And there was. And he killed the king.
Good stuff.
And then he won the best of 3 in the deciding game because of that.
Yeah. Fun stories.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But back to this game.
Okay, let's go.
The game that's actually happening at the moment, not storytelling time.
Well, it looks like a lot of booming, so to speak. But actually now, Nicov has got his forward siege workshop down, and from it, inside it, there is a mangonel, another one being trained, and I think we're going to see some, aggression, so to speak.
Sure. And he's even making some spearmen at home. By the way, we'll take a look at the relic count. Nicov has 2 of the relics. Doing his early scouts seems to be paying off so far. Max, pretty sneaky. Like, oops, how did I do that?
It's got some inertia. I like it.
How did I do that?
I think you've probably hit a toggle or something.
There we go. I turned that off. That
I
was
like
accidental.
that. Put it back on. That's awesome. You should do that. Or do you just find it like once you get used to this?
But like, using the right-click scroll is like inverted or something.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Oh, but I want to keep that like smooth panning. That was cool. I like it.
We'll experiment another time.
All right.
Here, I was just going to point out Max sneakily stealing this relic down, running across the edge of the map. But this aggression from Nicov, he's got 3 mangonels. He's going to take down this TC really, really quickly. Max trying to go for like defensive guard towers, I assume, with this early university.
Forgot what you're saying there.
Yeah, I
Ruben.
forgot what I was saying because I hear Zach doing
There it
things
is
in the
again.
background. There he goes
It's
again,
fine,
yeah,
it's
making
fine.
clicking sounds and whatnot just to annoy me. But back at home, Nicov, he is fully in boom mode, but just like the other games, he is being aggressive at the same time. Right?
Yeah,
He's destroyed a TC, for God's sake. Like, that is insane. He's now 1 TC ahead. He's going to start to get ahead in villages. Yeah, this is just really, really good for him. Max, in theory, should be ahead on Eco because he hasn't had to invest in siege workshops and all these mangonels and all these scouts and stables and whatnot. But that's not really the case at the moment. And like once this monastery goes down, Nicov can just sort of push in here. There's nothing really in any position to stop him. There's no defensive siege workshop from Max yet, which I think is a little strange. Not really any defensive monks. He's only got the 2 over there.
Yeah, he's not got anything to counter those
no
Nangamels.
There's
right?
no berserks. There's nothing here.
The Nangamels are really causing him a lot of issues. They've killed a monastery, a town center. There's a hole in the wall now.
Yeah, Nangamels, they're really dangerous units.
He's going to need some two long-sworded handsmen.
Oh god, you really mangled that one up.
Yeah, we need that. That was the original one.
Yeah, and then you screwed
That's the
it.
one that needs to be preserved. All the others are fake.
Oh. Yeah, okay, that's true. But look at this, Nicov, he's still up to imp first,
Damn.
even after all of this aggression.
His macro is just on point.
It's insane. I don't...
It's like he's got bonus resources, but he doesn't.
No, he just seems to be incredibly good. Like, really, really on point in these games, macroing. Just everything perfectly for what he needs. And Max still only has the 2 TCs. He's falling behind in bills, 5 bills behind now. Both of them switching into crossbows, but we see here Nicov already ahead. He's got more archery ranges, faster up to Imperial Age, faster getting the upgrades. And Max making ranges, also got stable as well for a handful of knights here. But Nicov is looking like he's in a pretty good position. Like, if I had to jump into this game and just start playing, I would pick Nikov's side 100% of the time. From here.
If you had to pick a position.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just like jumped into this game. Hopefully not against Max, because I think I would still probably lose.
That sounds like a fun thought experiment. I wish you could just do that, like save the game and then resume it as a...
You can do that, but you can't restore it with like multiple people. You can save a recorded game and then play from that point as one player.
Just sounds like a fun YouTube
but
video.
none of the other players' actions will carry over.
Yeah.
Right, so everything else just becomes a useless AI that does nothing. So like you can play from like, you know, the 10-minute mark of a game and compare your macro to another player's macro and how they actually did it, for instance. But you can't, you know, play against the same person.
It sounds like a fun challenge to play
Well, Nicov
from the position of someone in a tournament.
Nilly has sort of done this as a show match, or not a show match, as a fun community game on his stream where he'll co-op with the player, like say 1500 playing versus 1700, and he says, okay, you play until you think you can no longer win, and then I take over and I play instead.
Right.
And
That's
then,
awesome.
and then he tries to beat the opponent who was higher skilled than the initial player.
Right, from a losing position.
Yeah.
Right, that sounds like a lot of fun. People like comebacks. That's one way to make one happen.
Yeah, the problem is like sometimes you might get a player who won't actually say that they've lost until they've only got 4 villages left, and it's like, well,
I don't think I can win from this position. I have 3 bills.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't think I can win either. But okay, Nicov, he's starting to press in here. He's got the first trebs coming forward. He's got a number of arbs starting to mass up here. 32 army to only 17, and Max just does not have enough military here.
he's thankfully he finally got up to Imperial.
That's true, and he's getting Onager pretty quick. I think he probably wants to get a castle up on this hill, because that defends the stone, defends this forward gold as well.
And are they just blue blobs littered all on the minimap, just absolutely everywhere?
Yep, mining this gold.
And in the south as well. He's just, fully all over the map.
He's not really... Oh, he is mining this. One villager mining this gold as well. The only gold he doesn't have access to is this one. But this is Max's gold.
He's got fingers in all the pies.
Oh, yeah. And look at this. That's a forward castle there from Nicov.
Yeah.
Defending his treb, defending his army, defending his forward base.
It looks like Max has got a treb of his own now. He's using that to try and snipe the blue one.
No, now he's switched over to the castle. The thing here is, though, he only has one castle making trebs. If we take a look at the militaries tab, Nicov has two. He's got this castle plus the initial castle he started the game with.
Yeah.
Oops, wrong one. There we are.
He's just stuck in his base. Nicov has just decided where the game will happen, and every single play Max is making is in response. He cannot go where he needs to. He's really struggling at home. So it's not looking good.
And he's getting housed. He's losing houses here and there, which is obviously affecting him because he can't make units. This bunch of Arbalests is roaming around, picking off bills, causing idle time. Do you really want to take this fight? You have 12 army. He has 25. Sure, you're on a hill, but he has so much more army than you. Nicov, why are you running away? Just... Okay, fair enough. Nicov just wants to run. Fair. Not what I would do if I was him. I would just, take this easy fight with the numbers advantage, but no worries.
Perhaps maybe he's concerned about some cav or something that he doesn't realize.
Maybe some other army sneaking out of nowhere, or maybe he's just concentrating on his trebuchets and making sure that this area here stays secure, and he's just backing up with these ones for later in the game.
Yeah.
But here, this is the castle that I wanted to see from the Max.
Max castle coming down. This is trying to get back out, grab a foothold. Onager comes forward, does get a nice volley on the skirms.
Probably going to get at least one more good shot. The Vills are here to keep repairing it. If he can use this Onager, keep getting shots.
Man. Dodges that cannonball.
Dodges the trebuchet firing away at him.
And it looks like the castle will go up. That treb looks, kind of annoying for him to deal with. Boom, misses.
He's getting shots off on these skirms. Pretty nice.
Yeah, both have chemistry. I love the fiery death balls.
Oh,
but the Arbalests have returned.
Big bunch of Arbs. You thought we were gone, and nails in there with the treb.
But the castle is up now. He's gotten a foothold here. He's got another
Onager.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the word.
And but there is villagers repairing the treb here.
And some Arbalests as well trying to take him down. Can he get the repair in? Yes, he can.
Okay.
This is like a repair war. Who wins?
First treb down. Good. But loses his Onager. Oh no, that was a blue Onager.
He lost the blue mangonel died, but here it's in range of the castle. No. But this trebuchet is slightly further forward than these ones. So now the Onager has to come in range of the castle to shoot the trebs.
So that's awkward. And those Vills now, look at those trebs really going to town on that castle.
It's going to go down now.
That castle is what Max needed to get back out here. And it looked for a moment like he was pushing back, but there's only so many hit points on a castle. He was frantically repairing. How much stone does he have? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
There's too much damage.
He's got a lot of trebs of his own,
4
though.
trebs versus 3 trebs only for Max. They're trying to do a bit of treb tennis here. Nope, not even that. Max is going straight for the castle, trying to take that down first of all. Once the castle's down, his Onager can get in range. Maybe, but will he get the castle? Where's the castle?
It's very low HP.
And the Onager goes down as well?
That's not good, but he might be able to get that last one, and that's pretty good. The trouble is behind this, Nicov has, almost a 25, 30 villager lead. It's looking quite impressive, and for the longest period of time now, he's had so many more military units there. He's just really quite far ahead.
Remember, he's still got the map control. He's got 3 relics, I believe. Take a quick look at that at the moment. Oh, there's the GG. Doesn't even matter. Max realizing, I've got no army. I can't do anything at the moment.
This is...
That's just...
the way the cookie crumbles.
Feels bad, man.
But ladies and gentlemen, there is your winner of the ECL Grand Final Europe West stage, 1v1 stage. And picking up some more points for Team AM.
And some more prize money as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations to Nicov there. Very, very well done. But that's going to bring our stream to an end today. Thank you very much for watching the ECL, everybody. We will not be back next week. We'll be back the week after that. But
with the first round of the 3v3s.
Coming up very soon is the ECL Grand Finals. We'll see Nicov here in the studio with the rest of Team AM versus Secret. And that is going to be very, very exciting. If you're intending to come, and everybody should be, there are limited tickets, so you better get in pretty soon. We'll do !LAN in the chat. And for those that weren't aware, we also have the Age of Empires 3 New World Championship. That's the first LAN tournament in about 10 years. So we're quite excited. The AoE 3 community is excited. There's a lot of excitement in all the games, and it will be here at the studio within, I think, a few weeks of each other. So 2 LANs. It's going to be big. It's going to be exciting. And I'm looking forward to meeting everybody who I've sort of come to know in the Twitch chat. So do come. It's gonna be very, very good. I'm looking forward to that. It's really, really cool.
Exciting. You get to meet the players, some of the casters, the
Robo.
people from the community,
And Robo.
and me, and Will, and
don't know
Zero
why that's-
Empires, and Am, and everyone who's coming. Noella, there's 100 tickets up for the ECL LAN at the moment. That can possibly go up depending on how much interest there is. You know, if there's, 115 people, we can probably get that done. If 300 people want to come, that's not really on the cards.
Yeah, at the moment, I think it's set to 100 just because of catering and things like this, right? And then if it does go up, we have to make different arrangements. So that's why 100 was picked as this sort of arbitrary number.
Yeah, just our base amount to judge how much interest there is, and then we'll reconsider if we get close to 100.
Yeah, but
for the NWC LAN, there isn't really a limit on tickets because
we're not expecting as many people to come.
Yeah.
Let's just that's the reality of it.
There's not going to be 300 people coming, so it's just if you want to come, you grab the ticket, you get some food.
It should still be a good turnout for the AoE 3 community as well, which is of course smaller. But I think it's just 2 really, really big tournaments. NWC is the biggest Age 3 has seen in a long time, and I think the ECL Grand Finals will be one of the bigger or the biggest AoE 2 tournament in a very long time. This has been going on for a year. There's an absolutely huge prize pool put up.
The biggest prize pool in a couple of years now for a single event. Technically, it's a number of events, but it's one big tournament with lots of things happening. By the way, cheers YouTube. I assume that's YouTube Popcorn 897 for the Twitch Prime sub, and Badrang for the 12-month resub. Here's to 10 more years of AoE. Why only 10 years? Let's go for another 20.
But that's, speaking of years, a full year of subscriptions. So, Badarang, it's your anniversary. Happy birthday. I don't know. But thank you very much for subscribing, guys. But yes, that's it from us here. Yes, today. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. This has been my very first casting of competitive Age of Empires 2, and I've very, very much enjoyed casting the ECL. Of course, the reason that is the case is because Zach, you don't want to hear him today. He's got a bit of a cold, and I don't think he would want to be making that any worse. But today has been brilliant. I've really, really enjoyed it. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. Do get your tickets in for the LAN. It's going to be good. And we will see you all again tomorrow for an Age of Empires 3 show match. It'll be the Brazilian special. Most of the Age 3 players are from Europe, but we're going to Brazil to have Kick-Ass versus Look Tom, and I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. So see you later, everyone, and good night.
See you all. Thanks.